Hi viewers and welcome to the Ace Health TV. This video is an extract from a full-length article on our health website. I will drop the link to the full article in the description box. After watching, ensure you like, you subscribe, and you share. See you.
Today, we're going to talk about something that's absolutely critical for every parent, every grandparent, every caregiver out there. This is all about empowering you with information that can literally save a life. And we're going to start with a story that could happen to anyone. It begins with a scene that's just so familiar. A happy, energetic 3-year-old gets a fever. His mom, Mrs. M, does what pretty much any of us would do. She figures, hey, it's probably just teething. So she gives him some medicine to bring the fever down. It's such a common reaction, but in this case, that simple assumption led to a tragic delay.
By the time the fever came roaring back, this time with convulsions, it was just too late. This heartbreaking outcome really shows you how razor-thin the line can be between a regular childhood bug and a full-blown medical emergency. The stakes are just as high as they get.
So, you have to ask, why does this happen? What is it about young children that makes them so susceptible to getting this sick this fast? Well, the reason is biological, and it's a fundamental part of their first few years of life.
Think of it like this. A child's immune system is basically a work in progress. It's like a brand new army that just hasn't seen many battles yet. It hasn't built up the library of defenses to fight off infections the way an adult system can. And because it's still learning, a seemingly simple infection can escalate and become incredibly severe, really fast. This is the core vulnerability we all need to understand. Now, while all sorts of things can make a child sick, global health organizations like UNICEF have found that a small handful of diseases are responsible for the vast majority of preventable deaths in kids under 5.
5. That's the number to remember. Just 5 diseases that, if we can understand them and spot them early, can often be treated or even prevented altogether. And here they are: malaria, pneumonia, diarrheal disease, HIV, and tuberculosis. These are the big 5 we're focusing on today, because knowing their signs and how to prevent them is one of the most powerful tools you can possibly have as a caregiver. But before we break down each one of those diseases, let's talk about a universal toolkit. There are certain red flags, certain danger signs that scream serious illness, no matter what the specific cause is. Knowing these is your absolute first line of defense.
So what are these critical signs, or the symptoms that mean you need to stop what you're doing and get medical help right away? Okay, here's your checklist. Watch for these 5 things: a high fever that won't go away, any kind of difficulty breathing, or breathing that just seems way too fast, convulsions, seizures, a child who completely refuses to eat or drink anything, and finally, just extreme weakness, like they're limp or totally lethargic. Any one of these is a reason to see a doctor immediately.
All right, with those universal signs in our back pocket, let's dive into our disease-specific guide. We're going to look at the key symptom and the key prevention for each of the big 5. First up, malaria. The telltale sign here is a fever, and you might notice it gets worse or spikes in the evening. And the number 1 prevention is incredibly simple but effective: making sure kids sleep under insecticide-treated mosquito nets. These nets are a shield that keeps the disease-carrying mosquitoes away. And here's why that simple net matters so much. Look at this. Children under 5 make up nearly 3/4 of all malaria deaths across the globe. They are by far the most vulnerable group, which makes prevention just absolutely essential.
Next on our list is pneumonia, which is an infection in the lungs. The number 1 sign to watch for is fast or difficult breathing. And I don't just mean a cough. I mean a real change in the way your child is breathing. The best prevention is a powerful 1-2 punch: getting all their vaccinations and practicing good hygiene like hand washing.
Our third major threat is diarrheal disease. The definition is pretty clear-cut: 3 or more loose or watery stools in a single day. The real danger with this one is dehydration, which can happen so quickly in little bodies. The keys to prevention are all about access to safe, clean drinking water and getting the rotavirus vaccine. Next is HIV. Now, in young children, the signs can be a little more subtle. You might notice things like slowed growth, or that they're just not gaining weight properly. Since it's most often passed from a mother to her child, the absolute most important prevention strategy is stopping that transmission during pregnancy and birth through dedicated medical programs. And finally, we have tuberculosis, or TB. The huge red flag for this one is a persistent cough, one that lasts for more than 3 weeks. The best defense against it starts right on day 1 with the BCG vaccine, which is a shot that's usually given at birth to protect against the worst forms of childhood TB.
So, we've covered the diseases and we've covered their signs, but the most powerful message here is this. As a caregiver, you are the single most important factor in a child's health. Prevention and taking early action are powers that are in your hands.
It all really boils down to these 4 pillars of protection. Number 1, getting help quickly when you see those danger signs. 2, keeping up with every single immunization on the schedule. 3, providing good nutrition to build a strong body. And 4, making sure they have clean water and good hygiene. These 4 things are your shield.
And this is the bottom line. The story we started with was a tragedy, but it's so important to remember that most of these deaths are preventable. Simple, informed actions taken by caregivers like you are what changes the outcome. It really, truly can be the difference between life and death.
So we'll leave you with this thought. You now know the threats. You know the warning signs. You have the knowledge. The next crucial step is turning that knowledge into quick, confident action. Now that you know, you can be ready.